Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everybody in Charlotte. I'm your host, Meredith Dean, Marinator, and I'm so excited. I have a Charlotte native with me that has over 2 million subscribers on YouTube, 2 million followers on TikTok, and is just a hilarious comedian and an amazing content creator. We got Darryl with us. Hello.
Nice to meet you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So nice to meet you. And it's great because we got connected through Christian, who's one of my favorite past interns and also a content creator himself.
I didn't know he was an intern. That's crazy.
Yeah, he interned for me at Seacrest Studios.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Isn't
really
that
cool. I didn't know that.
But I love it. We're all just getting connected here. But it's so, we were just talking about, I mean, you went to high school here. You went to CPCC, one of the biggest community colleges.
Yep.
So tell me more about your journey to becoming a content creator.
Man, that is that's an interesting one. So what I'll say is I'll start with like the YouTube journey. I started on YouTube back in 2012, actually. And when I first started, my original like goal was to be a music producer. I was like making beats and stuff like that. And so the way that I got into YouTube was I was trying to figure out a way to like sell my music and stuff like that, sell the beats. And to me, it just made sense to be like, okay, I'll just put them on YouTube and then like, try to sell them through that way. But at the time, I was like, I just didn't want to put like a blank picture and then have a beat playing behind it because it felt so boring. So I used to do these things where like, to me, they were called turn up with me's, where I would like play a beat and I would sit in the chair and I would just dance to them. And they're still on my channel to this day. You can go like way back to the beginning and you'll see me just like sitting in the chair randomly, kind of cringy, and I'm just dancing to these like beats and stuff like that.
Not cringy. It's how you got started. We love it.
True. That's true. So eventually, what ends up happening is, so I grew up on comedy, like watching like Bernie Mac's and Martin's and stuff like that. And I wanted to find a way to like creatively sell the beats and stuff like that. So I started making little like comedy skits around the beats and all that. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll do that. I started doing that. And then what ends up happening is I started getting so many like of the comedy ideas that the beat started to take away from it. So I'm like, dang, like, I got this funny idea, but I got to put a beat into it and it's going to ruin it. So at that point I made a video on my channel and I was like, yo, I'm going to stop doing the music and I'm going to just focus on the comedy stuff. And at the time, it wasn't that many people watching, but to the people that were watching and that were supporting me, I just made a video to them saying that. And then from that moment forward, which is I think 2018, I started doing comedy skits like full time. Or not full time, but like I was doing that primarily and then working and stuff. And so before that, I was like, of course, working my regular jobs. I worked at Target, which I love Target. I have to go to Target every day.
And Target, we love. That's actually where my dress is from. We love Target.
I don't know why. I always had like this connection with Target. I don't know. It was a great company to work for too. And then after that, I worked at a pawn shop.
This is not sponsored by Target.
Not sponsored by Target, unless you want to.
Unless you want to, well, yeah, we appreciate that.
But yeah, so I did that. Worked at a pawn shop, and then this is the short version. This is the condensed version of the story. And then eventually, I quit the pawn shop job, and I lifted and DoorDashed up until my YouTube took off in 2021.
And what do you think it was about when you actually took off? What was it? A certain video that helped you take off, or?
So my journey was kind of weird because again, I've been on since 2012, right?
Yeah.
And my channel didn't like really take off, quote unquote, until 2021. And so I had been doing it for so long. And when my channel took off is when shorts finally came out on YouTube, and they were in beta. And mind you, like at the time, I had been making videos that were maybe like in between 3 to like 7 minutes. And so my friends were like convincing me, like, yo, you should do short form videos, like try these shorts. I'm like, bro, I don't want to do that. Like, cause it felt weird. Like the Vine days, I wouldn't have survived. It's like 6 seconds. I don't know how you would do that. So I ended up doing my first short. My first short was called "If You Were Honest with Her Parents" or something. And I didn't think much of it. I was just like, I'll just put it out. And that was the first video I ever had that like I think in a week had like 1 million views. And I think at the time I maybe had 3,000 subscribers. In that week I got like 40,000.
Wow.
And it just kept moving and kept growing. And I was like, wow, like this is kind of crazy. And so then one of my friends, shout out to my guy, Two Socks Productions, he gave me a challenge, like a 30-day challenge. He was like, yo, like I challenge you to make shorts for 30 days straight. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And within that time, we hit 1 million subscribers in like less than a couple of months. And I was
amazing.
Like, wow. Like,
and it was that consistency. You stayed with that 30-day challenge.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. I love it. It's just been going up for you ever since.
Yeah, it's been moving, and it's been a blessing. Honestly, I can't lie.
It's so amazing. Yeah. And so, tell me more about what you love about growing up in Charlotte, and maybe what makes Charlotte a good place for content creators.
So I think one. Of course, I'm biased because I grew up here, so I've always just loved Charlotte. Charlotte to me is dope because it feels like I always explain to people it feels like a big city but a small town. Like it feels like you're like in this big place, but like if you go to one end of uptown, to get to the outside may take you about 10 minutes. Like it ain't that big, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I enjoy Charlotte. I love it. I love everything about it. And then What was the second part of that question? I don't want to forget it.
I don't even remember what my second part of the question was, but
Well,
maybe why it's a great place for content creators to thrive.
That's what it was. So
you and I.
Yeah.
I love it.
So as well as like Charlotte is growing in that way. And what's crazy is most people, I think, you get the idea of, oh, I want to be a content creator, and you decide to like move to LA or move to Atlanta. And I've been like suggested that, like, yo, you should like go to, where you can do these other things. But to me, it's like, I don't know, it makes more sense to me to stay here and like kind of build it, because there's a lot of creative talent out here that we just don't know about. Like, so prior to the pandemic, my boy Two Socks was holding these meetups in Charlotte that were like YouTuber and social media content creator meetups. And we were doing those, and a lot of people would come out, and there was just so many people that you wouldn't think about that were like, we're doing comedy skits, we're doing tech reviews, we're doing gaming. And it's like, man, like there's a community here that's just there's nothing that's bringing us together. And so I kind of want to in some way be the bridge for that, where right now I'm in the process of like building those meetups back up, to be able to get people together and like talk and learn. Because truth be told, for me, and this is a longer story, but the reason I ended up quitting my jobs is my last job is because my boy Two Talks Productions doing his YouTube meetups, they were on Wednesdays, and my job wouldn't give me Wednesday off. And so I just quit because I was like, yo, like these meetups are so valuable, I want to go. And so I would go. And he was the first person I ever met who was like a real life YouTuber. Like he put his AdSense on the board and was like, yo, I'm making $6,000 a month or whatever. And I'm like, wow, like to be able to like make that kind of money from YouTube, it's like that's insane to me. And so when I saw that, like I was like, man, I can't, like I gotta do something. And so being that that's my experience, I just know how important it is to be able to see people who are actually doing it, And so,
and I love that you're a spearhead in Charlotte. I love that you're saying, why would I go to the other cities when we have such amazing talent here? And listen, I like the idea of meetups. I will help you with creating those.
I'd appreciate it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And I was actually wondering, did you go to the YouTube Shorts meetup that was at the Mint Museum?
I did.
I was there too.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I was there, and it was so funny. I was with Lee, and we can talk offline about this.
Because I was there. That's crazy.
I was just thinking that, like, there's so many creators that I didn't know that were in Charlotte who are creating amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, maybe they're not putting Charlotte, North Carolina, but they're here, and we need to get everyone together.
Exactly.
We'll have a little brainstorm business meeting now. Look at that.
Definitely.
So tell me more about you personally. I know you're married. You have a wonderful wife, and I know that your faith is important to you.
Yes.
So anything that you want to share about maybe something that your followers would know about you just from your content?
Yeah. So I think right now I'm in this place. It's funny you asked that, because right now I'm in this place where like, and I was talking to my boy yesterday about it. I'm in this place where I make comedy skits and I love it and it's so much fun. But the one thing that I don't want is I don't want people to look at like my pages as like meme pages, meaning like you just go to it for a laugh and that's kind of it. You just kind of on and off. Like I want to be able to share my personality with people and share like who I am as a person. Just because again, knowing that like being able to look up the people that you like relate to is important. So for me, a lot of people wouldn't know. So one, I just got married. I just got married March 28th. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So we just got married. And then, I mean, I don't really know 100% with this year. I'm trying to like learn that part, but I mean, I don't know. For the most part, I just like my entire goal, I guess, with like making videos and being like a social media, I don't like to say influencer, but being like a person on social media is to just create a positive impact on people, like, and to be a positive influence. Because I mean, if we being honest, there's a lot of like negativity, there's a lot of like beefs, there's a lot of things that just aren't healthy for you mentally. And I want my channel and my stuff to be like a place where you can come to like relax and enjoy yourself and like have fun and take your mind off of it. Because that's how I grew up. I grew up, when I talk about like the comedy stuff, like watching comedy movies and shows and stuff like that, that stuff for me was like an escape. Because we grew up, we didn't have much. Like we didn't have a lot at all. I didn't have cable until we were like, I think I was 18, 19. So we lived off of like these DVDs and like VHS tapes and stuff like that, and watching these comedy things. And for us, it was like an escape. It was like, dang, you get to watch these and kind of, to a certain extent, you get to live through other people, but you also get to laugh. And to me, like laughter is, I don't know, laughter to me is just one of the best. I don't know if it's an emotion, I guess. Is laughter an emotion? Is laughter
let's go for it.
Sure.
Laughter is one of the best things
in
the world.
It's one of the best things in the world. Like, and it can change your entire day around, really. So that's kind of like my goal. So I don't know if that really answered the question in terms of personality.
100% answered the question.
Okay.
And I love your intention behind your content creation. You're right. There's a lot of negativity out there. And I don't know if you've dealt with any kind of cyberbullying or anything like that. Sounds like because you are also putting love and light into the world. I assume that's what you're getting a lot of times.
You'll be so it was crazy. My Facebook just got hacked. My Facebook got hacked and deleted, and my Facebook got taken over, hacked and deleted 2 weeks ago. So literally all of my, it was like maybe like 250,000 followers deleted, gone, start just over.
Oh my gosh!
And it was a weird experience. It was something that like I was like, dang, this kind of sucks. But I'm one of those people that I try to find a light in everything. And I think one of the things that I learned in that was, one, I shouldn't answer my own emails. Because I just that was
Is that how you got hacked?
Yeah. So what's crazy is I got reached out to about a podcast, and they were like, "Hey, like we want to get you on this podcast." It was a guy who's pretty famous, or his management team, quote unquote. And they were like, "Hey, like it's gonna be hosted through Facebook. We want to like hop on a Zoom with you and like kind of show you how to like set up the settings in the background." I don't know no better. If I would have thought about it, I'd have turned it over to my agency, but I was just like, I'll just handle it. And ended up getting in the back end and like doing some stuff, and page is gone. But
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
No,
it's just from an email, and if you click the wrong thing, they'll get in there and take it all.
But what I was saying is the positive behind it, because I had to find it, is that I realized how many loopholes I had in my business though. Because I realized I didn't have a lot of privacy set up, a lot of security set up. Like I didn't have a lot of things that I'm supposed to have as a business, and like as somebody who like has a pretty decent following. I'm like, dang, I was very like vulnerable. And so my entire process the last like 2-3 weeks has been like me just getting my security and privacy stuff together. So it sucks, but ultimately I'm kind of like, man, it is what it is. Like it's,
and of all platforms, that was probably maybe your smallest platform, right?
Yeah, Facebook was probably my smallest, but it was the one that I kind of was learning to love it because, so I don't know if you know or not, but like certain platforms have different audiences. So TikTok is younger, YouTube is younger, Facebook is like the middle age, kind of like my age to like even up to like 50. And so those people, they were some of the most coolest, like most supportive people. And so I hate that, like, I don't have access to them like I want, but I'm a build it.
But you know what? They're going to come right back because they know that you have this amazing content, great intentions, and they probably come to you for an escape. So it's going to be even bigger. It's going to be this or better. Because that's what my group of girlfriends, we call ourselves, is this or better. Because either it's going to be this, which is great, or it's going to be the next level. So
Exactly.
I'm excited for that to grow back for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm working on it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anything that you want to leave, your audience with, is there any piece of information or advice or something that maybe someone taught you that you would want other people to know?
I would say, if I had to, I'll do advice. I think if I had to give any advice to anybody who's a content creator, I would say like, make sure you keep the main thing in a way of like, never forget why you got into it, because it's going to be very easy. What's crazy is like a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people like wish to be content creators and social media influencers, and that's cool. But it's a lot of, it takes a toll on you mentally in a lot of ways if you let it. Like imagine you post a video today that gets 10 million views, and then you post one tomorrow that gets 200. It's kind of like it puts you in that mindset of, dang, like, am I falling off? Do people not like me? Am I not funny no more? And I've dealt with that a few times, and you just kind of have to realize that like the reason that I got into this was to have fun and to use social media as an outlet. And so when you forget that, that's when you start like bending your content to fit the algorithm. You start trying to please people. You start looking at your money. You start looking at views. Like, man, how can I be like this person? I'm gonna be like that person. When the fact of the matter is, God gives us all a purpose, and we just have to follow that purpose and commit to that. And as long as we commit to that, everything else is gonna work. I have a quote on my wall that's a Bible scripture. I think I always forget it. I think it's Isaiah. I don't know. It's in Isaiah. And the quote is, where God guides, he provides. And I try to keep that in the back of my mind, where it's like, no matter what numbers look like, no matter what money looks like, it's like, all you got to do is focus on the things that are important, focus on the content, focus on like doing what makes you happy and pleasing people and pleasing God, and you'll be all right. So I would just say that for people who are like struggling like right now to like, build their content and stuff like that. It's like, just give it some time. Also, I've been doing this since 2012. It's 2024, over 10 years. And I've been only making money for the last 3. So don't get discouraged. It's going to take a while, but ultimately it's going to work out.
And I feel like that's just so inspirational. You stayed consistent. You stayed true to your values and who you are, and good things will happen.
Exactly.
And your faith as well.
Exactly.
And, I'm a social media coach outside of here, too, for content creators. And what I let them know, too, when it comes to views is think about taking one of those views and putting a person with it. So you went from 10 million to 200, still try to put 200 people in this room right now. You're able to reach so many people, and you should really put a person with that view. Yeah. Because then you are realizing how many people you're touching. 10 million is insane to be able to do that. I mean, that's incredible, right?
Yeah.
But also 200 is insane.
That's
we could have never done that back in the day unless you were hosting these huge events all the time, which takes a lot of effort. you know, but you're always reaching people no matter what. And it just takes one person to hear that good message and it goes out into the world.
Exactly. And I think that's a very good point. That's a very good point. That's one thing another piece of advice I would give. 'Cause
I love that. Bring the advice.
No, I think that's a great point. Because you know, it's crazy. At a lot of the meetups that we would have in Charlotte, like I mentioned, we used to like host meetups and stuff. A lot of people, I remember I was talking to somebody and they were like, man, yeah, I started my YouTube page or whatever, and I only got 16,000 subscribers right now, and it's just not moving. I'm like, bro, do you understand how many people that is? Like, even for me, I remember, man, like when I first like got started, crossing 100 subscribers, crossing 50, crossing 200, those were milestones for me. When I first started getting paid, so YouTube has like on the back end, they tell you like how much money you make. I remember when my revenue said like 30 cents, I was hyped. I was excited. I was like, that means I'm making money. I made 30 cents in here. When before I was making nothing. And my goal was always to like be a YouTuber, make money on YouTube. So yeah, I think you made a very good point where it's like, again, the numbers will fool you if you let it. Like, don't let it do that. Don't let it do that. That's why I'm like, focus on the important stuff.
Amen. It is so important to focus on the good and the way that you're changing people offline with your online impact.
Right.
And you're doing that every single day. So I'm so grateful to have had you
I appreciate
on
it.
Everybody
Thank you.
in Charlotte. And maybe we're going to start these meetups and we'll remember
Oh,
this
yeah,
moment, you know?
Most definitely.
I'm excited. I love it. Well, thanks guys for listening to Everybody in Charlotte. Loved having Darryl on this episode. Remember, we do this every single week and bring in a phenomenal human being who is in Charlotte. If you want to host your own podcast here at Everybody Studios, you can. Once again, I'm Meredith Dean, and we will see you next week.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yay!